Uh, can you please read the question?
In the diagram below, g of x is equal to a plus x.
I can't hear you.
Okay, in the diagram below, x is equal to a to the power of x plus q has been drawn with a with a 1, -1 and 5, a point on G. 1.1, 2.1, determine the value of A and Q.
Which type of function is that?
Exponential.
Exponential function. And the general form of the exponential function is what? Is A. The general form, A times B to the power X plus P plus Q there. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Then this Q tells us about what?
Tells us about the vertical shift.
About the vertical shift. And it also represents the issue of the asymptote. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
So that first question is saying determine the value of A and Q. So already our Q, because we know the equation of the asymptote on the diagram, so our Q is going to be equal to?
2.
It's clear, that one, right?
Yes, sir.
So our Q is equal to 2. Then let's go. We now want to find the value of A. We are going to substitute A, and the coordinates of A you are given already. You are told that the coordinates of A are -1, 5.
And
So
5.
wherever there is X, we put -1. Wherever there is Y, we put 5. Like what you did. Then you transpose to 2 to get 3. Then conclusively, our A is equal to 1/3. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Then the second one, what are they saying?
Determine the coordinates of the y-intercept of G.
The coordinates of the y-intercept, how do we get them?
Make x equal to 0.
Your y-intercept, you know that the x is equal to 0. So you, from the equation, because you now know gx is equal to 30 to the power x plus 2, then where there is x, substitute is 0, you got what? 3. So your y-intercept is giving you 0, 3. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
And as I think I've been highlighting this for some time, that you have to always take note of this keyword, the coordinates, because if coordinates, meaning to say our final answer must be in coordinate form. Can we please go to question 3?
Another function h is obtained by moving G by 2 units down. Determine h.
So it means I kindly request that you show all proper working so that we score all the marks. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
So it means hx, according to what you are told, hx is equal to gx, but you are told it's going to be moved 2 units down. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
What's the effect of that?
-2.
minus 2 to the entire function, and the g of x, you have your g of x there, which you said it's what? 30 to the power
1
x, ne?
over 3.
Sorry?
Yes, sir.
What is happening with my...
Yes, sir.
sorry. 30 to the power x. We were having plus 2, then we say minus 2. The plus 2 minus 2. So you end up getting this, which is 30 to the power x. But please take note to bracket that. Is that clear? Hello?
Yes, sir.
So
Yes, sir.
next time, show all the working.
Deter-
Yes.
determine the equation of the resulting function of h is reflected along the line y is equal to x.
You see, we are reflecting. Our key is we are reflecting along the line
Y
y
is
equal
equal
to
to
x. Is
x.
that clear?
Oh, so is this the inverse of
So always
h
when you
equal?
reflect along the line y is equal to x, just know that we want the inverse.
Okay, that's what confused me because I don't know whether it was the inverse or what it is.
So whenever we are reflecting along the line y is equal to x, it simply means we want the inverse. Is that clear?
Inverse. Yes.
So for our inverse, just let's take the function as it is. This is our function. So let's write it as y equal to 30 to the power x. And I told you the 30, put it in brackets. Is that clear?
Yes.
What are the steps that we follow?
Swap x and y.
Swap x and y. So we are now having x equal to 1 over 3 to the power y. Then from there, your y is equal to
Then we
what?
change it into y is equal to log 1 over 3
Log.
x. 1
It's
over
log
3x.
x. Then the base is.
1 over 3.
Is that clear?
Yes.
So you have to take note. Sometimes, I think it's the paper for 2019 or before COVID, 2018, 2019. They did not ask for inverse. They asked the same way it's asked here, determine the equation of the resulting function if h is reflected along the line y equal to x. The moment they talk of reflection along the line y equal to x, just know that we'll be talking of the inverse. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Are you covered there?
Yes, sir.
Can we please go to the next question?
Sketch the graph of x minus the inverse of h of x clearly shown. Show any asymptotes and intersects if h of x is equal to 1 over 3.
Okay, can you please take note? Let us just go to the graph that we are given there. We want to start from that graph. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
We want to start from the graph that we are given. If we check, we are given that graph of G. Then
G of
before we go to the
x.
inverse, you see that graph of G, we converted it to H. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
To come to H, what did we do?
We shifted it by 2 units
We
downwards.
shifted it by 2 units down. So Let me try to sketch it here. So it became something like this. Are we agreeing there?
Yes, sir.
If you check, we are saying we shifted it 2 units down. This point A, if it was shifted down, you see where it was going. Down.
Yes, sir.
The x coordinate did not change. Are you seeing that?
It will be, yes, sir. It'll be
But the y
negative 1, 3,
coordinate goes to where?
2, 3,
To 3. This y intercept, where did it go?
2, 0 to the
It will be 0.
origin.
Remember, we were at 3 here. We worked it out. We worked it here.
Oh, so I thought you were saying the asymptote, it will be 1. And then the
We are at
asymptote
1
will
now
be
here.
0.
Let's write it as a coordinate. It's going to be 1. It's going to be 0.
0 and 1.
Let me... It's going to be 0 and 1. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Then, can we please go to the asymptote? The asymptote is now where?
The asymptote will be 0.
How do you write the equation? It was at y equal to 2. When you move it down, are you seeing that it's y equal to 0?
Yes.
Yeah, hope my is not going to react. And you have to know that the equation y is equal to 0 is the x-axis. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
So this equation I put here is the equation of h. But now what you have to know, when we are now coming from a function to the inverse, just know that everything where you were seeing x, it becomes y, and everything where we were seeing y, it becomes x. Are you seeing that? Hello?
So please repeat.
Sorry?
Please repeat what you just said.
We are saying your first step that you explained here, saying let's swap x and y. So you have to know that when we are coming from a function, then we go to the inverse. Everything which was an x on the function becomes a y on the inverse. Everything which was a y on the function becomes an x on the inverse. Are you seeing that?
Yes, sir.
Using this one, which you said it was your step number 1 of swapping x and y. So it means our asymptote here, we were having y equal to 0. So it means when you go to our asymptote for the inverse now, which is h inverse, our asymptote, it's now going to be, hello?
X is equal to 0.
X, because
X is
here
equal to
we were
0.
having y equal to, just know wherever there was x. So it means our asymptote on that one, just know that our x is equal to 0, and the line which is having x is equal to 0, it's what? Is the y-axis. Is that clear?
It's the y-axis. Yes, sir.
Then we have another point which we know from our age. Are you seeing that? We have a point which was 0, 1. So it means when we come here, it will be what?
1, 0.
It means it's gonna be 1, 0. Then we have another point there, which was what? Minus 1, 3. When we come here, it's gonna be what?
3, 1. 3, negative 1.
It's gonna be 3, negative 1. Now let us just draw our axis. This is our axis. This is our axis. Is that clear? This is
Yes,
y.
sir.
This is x. Let us go. So this one, it means it's now x-intercept, right?
Yes, sir.
So somewhere here. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Then this point 3, negative 1, it means it's gonna be somewhere here. because the x value is positive, but y value is negative. That 3, 1. That 3, negative 1. Are you seeing it?
Yes, sir.
This one is 1. So by just sketching, it means we agreed our y is asymptote. So it means our graph is going to be like this, passing through that point and that point. That becomes your H inverse. Did you get that?
Yes, sir.
That one becomes your H inverse. Then what was the next question saying?
For what values of x is the inverse of h bigger greater than 0?
So you see, we already drew the graph. When the graph is drawn, it seems when we say greater than 0, we are talking where the graph is above. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Where the graph is above the x-axis. And when we say less than 0, we are just saying where the graph is below the x-axis. Is that clear?
0.
So if
Yes.
we were to check, if I'm to mark where is our graph above the x-axis, you would see that all that part until here, our graph is above the x-axis. Are you seeing that?
Yeah.
And it's going to be going continuously because it will never, our graph here is never going to go down. So how are we going to write that inequality now for question 2.6? Where is the graph above? Are you seeing is it from 0 to 1? Are you seeing that?
Yes, sir.
So the final answer will be 0 less than x less than 1. Are you seeing it?
Yes, sir.
But also, I want you to take note of this on that type of question. They can come here, then they put greater or equal to. If it was greater or equal to, you are seeing that
Yes, sir.
if the answer there was greater or equal to, you would realize that that one was going to be what? Still, we want above, and it's the part that we shaded. But because it's accommodating or equal to, this one, we have to include the one. But the 0 here, we can't include it. Why can we not include the 0?
Because the graph is not at 0.
Because the graph
It
is,
cannot touch
because this
0.
one is an asymptote. It's clear, right?
Yes, sir.
So it means if there was or equal to, our answer was going to be 0 less than x. But when we go to 1, it's going to be less than or equal to 1 there. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Let's go to the last question.
Yes, sir.
Can you please read?
In the diagram below, f of x is equal to negative x squared plus 5x minus 4. D is the turning point of f of x, and A and B and C are intersects with the respective axes. Determine the coordinates of A, B, and C.
So if you check what are the points A and B?
A and B are the intersects.
And what is point C?
Point C is the y-intercept.
So let's go there. So at point C, this is how you calculate. You have to write that in full. So what was there on point C? So you know it's y-intercept, right?
Yes, sir.
Then how do you get that x equal to 0?
0.
Then substitute, you get your -4 there. What is the point A and B?
A and B are x-intercepts. So we have to
X-intercepts.
make y equal to 0.
What's happening now with my pen? X-intercepts, y equal to 0. Like what you did there, use your quadratic formula. You got those two answers. Then remember, our answers must be in coordinate form. So that one is fine. You see, this part that you put there, 3.1 was only going to be answered by from here. Because D, you are not asked there. Is that
Yes, sir. I
clear?
realized that after I did it. Yes, sir.
So for the purpose of the exam, it's very important that you read so that you don't spend time doing the things that are, because you see you were able to do that without doing. Then let's go to the next one. Okay, are you seeing it properly?
Yes, sir.
Okay, let's go to 3.2. You used which method? Completing the square, right?
Yes, sir. But, sir, I think this one, or the first equation that I did, one of them is incorrect. Because when you look at it and you look for the intercepts, and you don't, they're not the same, if that makes sense.
Which one?
You see, when I accidentally calculated D,
Yes,
yeah, there, and also where I did the completing the square. If
yes.
you try and take the turning point coordinates, then they're not the same, and so I figured that one of them is correct.
So, okay, I'm going to. So, the easiest way that you can do that, this one was supposed to be. Let me check. Let me check if I can try to. And
So do you understand what I'm saying?
yeah, you are saying this one and this one, they are not giving you the same thing, right?
They're not giving me the same turning points,
Yes.
whereas they should. Yes.
So, what I'm trying to say is this. Wait, okay. What I'm trying to
They're not
say,
giving me the same y turning points.
this one which you had written as 3.1, this one, it can be your 3.2 using this method. Then at the end, after calculating your turning points there, remember A in this format and A in this format will always be the same. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
So it means after using this
Oh,
method
so I
that you
can just
used,
take those coordinates.
you are just supposed to copy those coordinates, meaning to say, after that calculation, your fx was supposed to be
Will be equal to
negative,
negative x.
open bracket,
Sorry, negative bracket x minus
x minus 5 over 2,
5 over 2,
close bracket squared,
close bracket, square root, plus
9
9
over
over
4.
4.
This was supposed to give you the correct
Yes.
thing. But now let us do it doing the completing the square that you did there. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
So you
So if
factored,
sir I did it that way, I would get all the marks.
you get all the marks.
Okay, thank you.
Then here you factored out negative. Then we are left with x squared minus 5x plus 4, which is correct. Then when you come here negative, it's out. You have x squared minus 5x plus half that coefficient, which is, then you subtract it again. I'm agreeing with you. Take note, here we were having plus 4 after factoring out. Why here are we now having minus 4?
Oh, that's probably where I went wrong. Okay.
Are you seeing that part?
Yes, sir.
Then minus, then that one was going to give you x minus 5 over 2 squared. Can you please punch that part on your calculator? Minus 25 over 4 plus 4.
Minus 25.
Is just punch the way you wrote it there. That last, those last two terms, but don't forget the negative.
Oh, it's negative 9 over 4. Okay, this makes sense because then some. Okay.
It was supposed to be here negative 9 over 4, right?
9 over 4, yes, sir.
Then when you multiply by both negative, it was supposed to give you here plus 9 over 4.
Plus 9 over 4.
You see where you make mistakes and you end up
Okay.
losing your marks there. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Can you do read 1 point, that one, the 3.3?
If tx is equal to f of x plus r, then the values of r have h. Will h have roots that are equal, that are real and equal? Sorry.
You see, if we are saying that, you see, we are just saying this graph that we are having is fx. Then if we add r, what is it that we are going to get for it to have real and equal roots? For it to have real and equal roots, it simply means the turning point must be on the x-axis there. So for it to be there, what is going to happen? You are going to move that turning point how many units down?
Oh, we're going to move it 5 over 2 units down.
Is it 5 over 2? Take note.
No, 9 over 4. 9 over 4 units down.
It simply means we are going to move with 9 over 4 units down. So in other words, your R there is equal to negative 9 over 4. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
But
But okay,
alternatively,
yes, that is.
you would write fx that you are given. That was going to be long marks for 4 marks. Because you would write our fx is what? Negative x squared plus 5x. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Minus 4. Then we are having plus r. Equate that equation to 0. Because if we want to get what? Roots. The fact that we want to get roots, that's why we are equating it to 0. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
So, for the roots to be equal, for equal roots, what do we still remember? Our discriminant must be equal to 0.
Yes,
You
sir.
do you still remember nature of roots from grade 11?
Here and there, sir.
Sorry?
Here and there, but I remember the nature of it.
So for equal roots, our discriminant, which I use triangle, is that part which is having b squared
B squared
minus 4ac. That part from the quadratic formula, which is under the root. Is that clear?
yes, sir.
So if you check,
Yes.
what's your b here?
B is equal to 5.
So it's
So it will be 5 squared
5 squared minus 4. What's your a?
minus 4, negative 1.
What's your c?
Our C is negative 4 plus R.
It's you take everything without x. Negative 4 plus r must be equal to 0. Let us try to expand here. 5 squared is going to give us what?
25
25. Then here minus 4 times minus 1
plus 4.
plus 4. Then we have minus 4 plus r must be equal to 0. Are you seeing that?
Yes, sir.
Can we please
So we'll have
expand
negative 29.
25 here and here?
That will equal to negative 16.
Negative 16. Let's go.
And then 4R plus 4R.
Plus 4r equal to 0. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Then 25 minus 16, what do you get?
9
9 plus 4r equal to
plus 4R is equal to 0. And then you say 4R
4r
is equal to negative 9.
negative 9.
Negative 9. And then R is equal to negative 9 over 4.
R is equal to negative 9 over 4. You see, we are getting the same answer.
Yes, sir. So this is what I would do if it was 4 marks.
You see, but here, because it was 1 mark, they just wanted you to know that for us to have one root, our turning point must be here, so must be on the x-axis. So you shift it how many units? They just wanted you to know the y coordinate. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Then, can you please read the last one?
If A is a reflection of B, find the coordinates of the mirror line.
Okay, what's that A and B?
A and B is A is 1 and 0.
I'm asking what
B
are
is
they,
4
A
and
and
0.
B?
Oh, x-intercepts.
They are x-intercepts. So you have to know that on a parabola, x-intercepts reflect each other along the axis of symmetry of a parabola. So how do you get the equation of the axis of symmetry of a parabola? You just have to know the x coordinate at turning point. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
So it was just supposed to be x equal to, what is the x coordinate at turning point?
5 over 2.
You just have to know that.
So that's all I write, and then I'll get 2 marks.
Yes, remember other marks, they come from knowing the interpretation of the thing, because you were supposed to show that you know that the x-intercepts they of a parabola, not or anything of a parabola, they reflect along that axis of symmetry. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Our time is up. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.